And we're back with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And we love talking about Springfield because, of course, it's where all you are driving into right now. Even if you don't live in Springfield, you're going to be spending tax dollars in Springfield. You're going to be visiting events and all kinds of entertainment in Springfield. So we love keeping people posted on what's going on. That's why we also do the Council Roundup each and every Wednesday, where we digest what happens at the Springfield City Council meetings and the committees of the whole and bring you those highlights here every Wednesday. So look forward to that tomorrow with a Springfield City Council meeting tonight. But one thing that you're going to be looking forward to as well is the elections. And those elections are coming up quicker than you know. They got the new ward maps they're going to be looking at possibly finally approving tonight and moving forward with those. But what about the city-wide races? Of course, you've got a mayor's office, you've got a treasurer's office, you've got a city clerk's office. There might be some opportunity here to see some new names move around into different spots. And one of those names is Misty Buscher. She is the treasurer of the city of Springfield, and she's looking to be mayor. Misty, thanks for taking time with us this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me here, Greg. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So for people who don't know who you are, of course, the treasurer, we hear your reports every week for the Council Roundup, giving how much money is cash on hand and how much ARPA dollars there are, something we'll definitely talk about here in a little bit. But who is Misty Buscher outside of being a Springfield treasurer?
So Misty Buscher, her career was always being a financial professional in the banking industry. My last gig before I decided to run for office in 2015 was I was a vice president at Marine Bank here in Springfield. I'm married. My husband, Michael, and I live on the north end of town. We always say we're going to go we've been on the north end our whole married lives, and we'll go from the north end to the nursing home or funeral home, whichever one they take us to first, I guess. We have 2 children. Our son Anthony is married to his wife Crystal, and they have 2 children, Beckham and Alessandra. So I have 2 grandchildren, 3 and 1. And then our daughter Courtney lives out in Los Angeles. So we have a daughter in LA. Yeah.
What is she doing in LA?
Well, she loves the California weather, she tells us. But she works for a hair care company they're called Wella International, and most women know it because they own OPI Nail Color, which is probably not something you participate in a lot in. But
I used to paint my nails back in high school, believe it or not, and I did paint my nails pink for October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I watch my wife paint her nails all the time too. So
she does e-commerce work for them. She works. She's been in e-commerce ever since she got out of college. So
wow. So again, Misty Buscher with us here in Springfield, talking Springfield politics as she has announced a bid to become mayor, taking on the incumbent Jim Langfelder. Why? Why do you want to become mayor? I think is the big question here.
It is a big question. When I ran for office in 2015, the reason that I decided to do that was I've done a lot of community service in my background. I enjoy contributing to non-for-profit agencies to our community and volunteering. And I decided that being a public servant was another way to give back to the community. So I ran for office, and I've been treasurer for 8 years, as you pointed out. And the easy thing to do would be to run for office one more time because I do have one more term. We do have term limits at the city of Springfield, and be the treasurer again. The hard thing to do is what I'm doing today. And the reason that I have decided to run for mayor is I bring a different set of leadership skills to the city, and then I also would take those leadership skills and use them in a different way, working with our aldermen, working with our businesses, and working with our unions. So it would just be a different concept.
Let's talk about some of the things you're already hearing from people out in the community. What are some of the key issues that they feel aren't being addressed right now that need to be addressed?
I get a lot of feedback about infrastructure of our community, whether it's the streets. A couple people have joked to me and said, I can't ride in the right lane of any street because I'm going to worry about lose a tire. I have people upset about infrastructure of curbing, the downtown infrastructure, downtown itself. How are we going to revitalize that? How are we going to help with the homeless situation? Economic development. Our business leaders are really in my ear about economic development. They're very concerned about that. And then lastly, I do think that there are some areas of our city where the citizens are really just concerned about crime still.
Let's unpack some of that. In particular, infrastructure. I think I hear a lot of that, and we see it whenever there's heavy rain. The viaducts flood, and you've got some storm sewer problems. It's going to be expensive. How do we go about addressing that?
So I sent an email when we first got our ARPA dollars 2 years ago to the budget director, the public works director, the mayor, and I said, I don't have a vote on the council, but I would prefer the ARPA dollars go towards infrastructure. That's where I felt they needed to be done because it is a very expensive piece of the apple to bite off. It's not glamorous, it's not fun, but it's needed, and it would be less wear and tear even on our own equipment, fire trucks, police cars. How many times when we get a big flood do we have to send Springfield police officers or Springfield firefighters out to stop people from harming themselves by possibly getting into a flooding situation? So there are a lot of issues that are not pretty and fun and glamorous, but they actually would help strengthen our community, and it eventually would make it a better place for us to live.
And we're talking, there's tens of millions of dollars right now in ARPA funds, right?
Correct.
You've already gotten the second tranche of dollars, and I think total it was, $39 million altogether?
About $36 million, yeah.
About $36 million. So a lot of that money's still sitting there.
We've spent some of it, correct, but there is a large portion of about 3/4 of it still there. Wow. I sent an email to the budget director recently looking to see how he would like to, since rates are starting to go up, we can invest a little bit more of our money in a better market. And he said that he anticipated the funds being spent by the end of the year, the majority of them, so don't tie them up in an investment. So,
what would they be spent on?
Well, I know they have the 3 firehouses going. That would be one of the things that they would spend the money on. And I am a proponent for our fire department. They are hands down one of the best fire departments across the country, for sure. But I do know that the report for the fire department suggested that we have an architect and an engineer go through each of our firehouses, evaluate them and put them in order for us of which ones that needed to be addressed. And I don't know that that's been done, yet we're building 3 new ones. So I'm not against new firehouses. Please don't take it that way, but I'm for looking at the plan first, not just knee-jerk reactions.
We're talking with Springfield Treasurer Misty Buscher. She looks to take on Mayor Jim Langfelder in the mayoral race. Could there be others that announce between now and April of next year? We shall see. But it looks like we're starting to get somewhat of an indication of the major issues that may come up in this election. Misty, do you have time to stick around for another segment?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, so stay tuned. We'll get to more here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, back in studio with Springfield Treasurer Misty Buscher, who has announced she is running for mayor, and the election is in April of 2023. So we've got a lot of time between now and then and plenty of issues that we'll tackle, but some of the immediate issues, we talked a bit about infrastructure. Treasurer Buscher, let's talk about homelessness. We see, of course, the possibility of an ordinance coming up dealing with individuals getting into the roadways. That's just very surface level. How do we address the issue of increased numbers of people downtown that are experiencing homelessness?
I do believe we need a specific facility that is a place where the homeless can go, that's large enough to address their mental health issues. If there are any addiction issues, we can help address those. But also a safe space where they can hang out, get something to eat, do laundry, take a shower. I do believe a large facility like that is needed in our area. I think there would need to be a task force deciding where that needed to be located because, as you know from the past, location is a major issue with things like that. But I think that until we have a place where our healthcare workers know that the homeless are always going to the same spot for those services. They're easy to find. They're there. And then we can offer people the services they need to help get on their feet.
So we'll obviously hear a lot more about the various ways that we can help those experiencing homelessness in the city of Springfield, because I'll tell you, just talking to people who work downtown, they go out for lunch, they see them increasing numbers. Some people may be afraid of just walking down the sidewalk because it seems that it's not just individuals who are experiencing homelessness, it's individuals who are experiencing mental health issues that leads them to homelessness.
I think you have a combination of people who are just, as you said, simply homeless, but then you also have people with addiction issues. I know I've walked from my office to Obed and Isaac's for lunch on the sidewalk by Lincoln Library, and drug deals are going on right there on city property. So there are addiction issues going on. And then there are also, the mental health issues, as you and I just both talked about. So all of those issues are different for each person there, and I am not qualified to handle that or advise these people, but there are healthcare professionals that are. So how do we get a space where the individuals feel safe going to, can get that help from the healthcare professional, and maybe, like I said, hang out, stay in the air conditioning when it's 94 degrees out,
Right.
get some cold water, take a shower, things that they don't always have. They will come to that facility if they know those things are there for them. So I think that's what we need to start focusing on.
Again, Treasurer Misty Buscher with us in studio on Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, and she has announced that she is running for mayor. Another issue that, of course, we can talk in the future here about pensions. We could talk about Lake 2. We can talk about the use of the ARPA dollars, so maybe we have those future conversations. But something else that's pretty immediate here. We've heard from CWLP about the issues of the power grid, the MISO power grid, and the reliability and the costs. We've got that 2035, 2040 deadline to possibly wrap up operations for this coal-fired power plant. What do you see the future of City Water, Light, and Power with the direction that you see the Biden administration and the Pritzker administration taking our energy policies?
So the future of City Water, Light, and Power is concerning for me, definitely. The future of our water facility and the future of our power plant. I do think that we need to have renewable energy for sure. We want to save our environment for our children. We want to have a place for them. But at the same time, we have to have a plan for that renewable energy and how is it going to function? How is it going to get on the grid? By shutting down all of the gas or the coal or the nuclear energy, we're not answering that question. Of course, we're shutting it down, but where's it coming in? So there has to be a happy medium of marrying in the renewables and then increasing renewables, and then you decrease the others. I believe we jumped the gun a little bit and started decreasing things with the coal-fired power plants and fracking with the gas, and now we're going to have these rolling blackouts. And it's just not an issue for Central Illinois. It is an issue across our entire country. And if you read national news, it's an issue in Germany. It's an issue in other countries as well. So it's not just something that we in the U.S. have done. So I think we need to acknowledge that as well.
Treasurer Misty Buscher, again, thank you so much. I imagine we'll definitely be talking about these and other issues in the future. So hopefully you can come back and join us soon, all right?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News.